This is the story of Christmas. The same story of Christmas that's been told for 2,000 years. But, after all, if you're still a kid like me, you never grow tired of hearing it again and again. So, hey, wait a minute. Judy?
Yes, Uncle Gene?
Jimmy?
Yes, Uncle Gene?
I think you'll be able to hear much better if you sit up here on my lap. So what do you say? Yeah, that's it. Up you come. Now, you all set, kids?
Yes, Uncle Gene.
Good, 'cause here we go. Once upon a time, many, many years ago, there lived a man named Joseph and his wife, whose name was Mary. And they lived in the city of Galilee, a city clear over on the other side of the world.
Gosh, that's a long way, isn't it, Uncle Gene?
Sure is, Judy, a long way. Anyhow, one day Mary and Joseph decided to take a trip, just like you and Jimmy do in the summer with your Uncle Smokey.
Were they going fishing like us and Uncle Smokey do?
Well, no, son. They were going away for a different reason. They were going into the city to pay their taxes.
What are taxes, Uncle Gene?
Well, Judy, taxes are money that grown-up folk pay to Uncle Sam to keep their country going. Only back in those days, they paid their money to a king instead.
Oh, well, what happened to Mr. Joseph and Miss Mary?
Well, honey, they packed all their belongings on their donkey and started off. You see, in those days, people didn't have automobiles.
Did the donkey look like Champion, Uncle Gene?
Well, I guess it did, Jimmy, except maybe his ears were a little longer and his legs a little shorter.
Could he go as fast as Champion?
Oh, I doubt that. You see, he was pretty well loaded down with bundles. Anyway, donkeys aren't meant to go as fast as horses. That's why it took Mary and Joseph several days to make their trip. But then finally one night in the distance, they saw the city of Bethlehem. Well, kids, Mary and Joseph were tired when they got to Bethlehem, so they went to the inn to get a room. But there were no rooms.
I bet if we lived over there, they could have stayed with us, couldn't they, Uncle Jim?
You bet they could, Jimmy.
And they could have put their donkey in our barn, too.
They sure could. But what do you think happened?
What?
Well, just a few nights later, Mary and Joseph became the mother and daddy of a little baby boy. But since they had no place to stay, their little boy was born in a manger.
What's a manger, Uncle Gene?
Well, honey, a manger is sort of like a trough in a barn. Only this manger was in a cave.
Did it have a hayloft and everything?
No, I'm afraid this one didn't, Jimmy.
How did Miss Mary and Mr. Joseph keep the little baby warm, Uncle Gene?
Oh, they just bundled him all up in blankets, Judy. And, of course, his mother stayed close to him, too. But then that first night, a very strange and wonderful thing happened.
What?
Well, at the same time, out in the fields, there were lots of shepherds guarding their sheep.
Well, what was the wonderful thing that happened, Uncle Gene?
Well, Judy, while the shepherds were watching their sheep, they looked up at the sky. And there before their very eyes, the sky seemed to get brighter and brighter. And the shepherds were afraid.
Did they think it was going to storm?
They didn't know what to think, Jimmy.
What did they do?
Well, you see, honey, that's when the wonderful thing happened. An angel appeared before them and spoke to them.
What's an angel, Uncle Gene?
Well, Jimmy, let's see. Remember when you used to get dirty out in that mud hole in back of your house?
Yes.
And then one day you didn't do it anymore?
Uh-huh.
Well, an angel told you not to.
Is an angel good all the time?
Oh, I should say so.
Can anybody hear an angel, Uncle Gene?
They sure can, Judy. All they have to do is listen.
Well, what did the angel say to the shepherd?
Well, the angel told them not to be afraid, Jimmy. That the bright light they saw in the sky meant that a new baby boy had just been born in the city of Bethlehem. A child who'd come to tell them all how to live in peace with each other. A baby boy named Jesus.
Joy to the world, the Lord is come. Let earth receive her King.
And so the shepherds left their sheep and hurried to the manger in the city of Bethlehem to see the new baby Jesus the angel had told them about. You see, Judy and Jimmy, he was a pretty special baby. In fact, he was so special that lots of folks, even kings, brought him presents.
Three kings of Orient are, bearing gifts, sweet travelers of
But it seems in that day there lived in the land of Judea a king named Herod, who was a bad and jealous king.
Why was he bad, Uncle Gene?
I don't really know, Judy. I guess he was like lots of people in the world today. He just didn't know that he could become happier himself by making other folks happy. So he was mean and cruel.
Did he hurt Miss Mary and Mr. Joseph and the baby Jesus?
We might have, honey. That is, if it hadn't been for the angel.
You mean the same angel who talked to the shepherds out in the fields?
That's right. That very same angel came and talked to Joseph one night while he was sleeping.
But, Uncle Gene, how can Mr. Joseph hear what the angel was saying if he was asleep?
He heard him in a dream, son.
What did the angel tell Mr. Joseph, Uncle Gene?
Well, Judy, the angel told him to take Mary and the little baby Jesus and go to Egypt.
Why?
Because the angel said if they didn't, King Herod would come and hurt their baby.
Didn't King Herod like the baby Jesus?
No, Jimmy, I'm afraid he didn't. You see, he too had heard about the baby Jesus, and King Herod was afraid that someday that little baby would grow up and become king instead of him.
Gosh, Uncle Gene, what did Mr. Joseph do?
Well, honey, that very same night, Joseph took Mary and the little baby Jesus and went away to Egypt.
What happened to the baby Jesus after that, Uncle Gene?
Well, lots of things have happened to him, Jimmy, and as you grow older, both you and Judy will find out more and more about him. But I can tell you this. A lot of people in the world today have forgotten all about him. And because they have, a lot of other people aren't very happy. Great and near-great men have left their mark on history's pages. Some because of the good they brought into the world, others because of the sorrow they left behind. Most of them are gone and forgotten now. But that little baby who was born in a manger almost 2,000 years ago will live forever in the minds and hearts of millions of folks who still believe in things like love, hope, understanding, and peace.
Hey, look, Gene. They're both asleep.
Yeah, it's just as well, Tim. Tomorrow's a big day.
Golly, I wonder what they're dreaming about.
Oh, probably the same things you dreamed about when you were a kid.
Yeah, I suppose they are.
Switch that light off, will you?
Right.
And now, little curly heads, sleep in peace and dream of electric trains, of a rocking horse or a baseball bat or 1,000 candy canes, of a Christmas tree all tinseled, of a sleigh that flies through space, of the stocking you hung on the mantle that you borrowed from your Auntie Grace. For yours are the dreams of the very young, the most precious dreams on earth. Don't ever, ever lose them, 'cause they're yours by right of birth. Don't ever let them tarnish with the rust of hate or greed, but keep them bright and shining. And to what I say, pay heed. Within you lies the hope of the world, the faith of all mankind. May you bring it peace forever. May your joys your people find. For each of you, with all my heart, I pray your dreams come true. You haven't heard a word I've said, but I'd bet my life on you. Good night, Jimmy, Judy, Merry Christmas, everybody. Silent night, holy night, all is calm, all is bright.